Alright, so a few days back I decided to order the OnePlus Nord CE, and later I cancelled my order and got this Pixel 4a. And as of now, I've been using it as my daily driver. And as you know, I've always been a stock Android fan, and device like the OnePlus Nord CE was against many sole things that I look for in a device. And a well optimized software with timely updates is really important to me. So in this video, let's find out how good or bad the Pixel 4a is in 2021 and have a look at my initial impressions with this device. First of all, I managed to get this one at around 25k roughly with a card offer and the price dropped too. And at that price, it seems like a good deal to me. Though the MRP on the box is around 32,000 and even the retail price now is back to 32k. First up, we have the classic Google white packaging. Too minimal, and only one color is available in India, that is this just black. So now quickly unboxing the device first, and first up we have the Pixel 4a itself. So let's keep it aside for now, and after that we have a cute looking SIM ejector tool and some paperwork. Next up we have a couple of things. First up we have the 18W fast charger, which is a bit slow as compared to other devices that we have. Next up we have this great quality type C to C cable, and this one seems really sturdy, something that other OEMs don't focus on. Lastly, we have the USB-C to A adapter, and that can be used to transfer your data and applications, and also as an OTG just in case you want to do that. So a good inclusion nonetheless. And that's all what we have in the box. Now coming back to the device, and it feels quite compact as compared to any device I own so far. And even the weight distribution feels awesome and really light. And the back here is a plastic one and has this neat matte finish, and I really like it as I can finally use this device without a case. Though it looks less premium than a glass one for sure, but the quality of plastic at least is not a glossy crap like we see on some other mid-ranges in this price. Not CE. So if I talk about the build quality, well, I really like the feel and finish this device has, and I really miss compact good looking phones, simply because they are so easy to manage and use in day-to-day life. So do you feel the same? Let me know in the comment section down below. I also like the fact that it has a headphone jack that some brands bring as a feature and create hype around it. So yeah, it's there too, and so are the dual stereo speakers that sound really nice and have a decent separation, if not the best. Lastly, we have our Type-C port with 18W fast charging support and this minty power button that looks really neat. This Pixel 4a runs on Snapdragon 730G SoC with 6GB of RAM, and base storage is 128GB, which is good and enough for most people out there, but if you are a gamer then this might not be the best pick for you. Moving further, we have a 5.8-inch 60Hz OLED display with this single punch hole selfie camera on the top, and it has a full HD Plus resolution. It also has a dual SIM support and a 3140mAh battery, which might seem really small on paper. The cameras here are well simple and awesome. A 12.2MP sensor on the back and an 8MP sensor on the front. So no crazy namesake camera sensors like we have in most phones these days. And I like this approach way more than that. Now that we are on the camera part already, here are some quick samples, and I must say that the camera left me surprised for sure. The image quality is way too awesome without any gimmicks or so, and so the software power can be seen on this device. You just have to take a shot normally without any adjustments, and it is usable right out of the camera. And if you see some comparison shots with the OnePlus Nord, well, you will understand what I mean. From portraits to night side shots, it can beat even the most expensive devices from other brands, and just leaves me surprised to be really honest. Coming to the performance aspect, well, this device is not the most powerful one you will encounter in this price segment, and on paper that can be seen, as on Geekbench, the device scores 531 in single core and 1496 in the multi-core score, which isn't great but decent for this SoC, and benchmarks always sell half of the story, at least in this case, as in my time with it, this device has been great for all the normal tasks, and even the animations to stock UI, everything is well polished and really well optimized, and there was zero hint of lag as such. The display though feels somewhat old school as it lacks higher refresh rates, but really the great software experience makes up for that. though if it had a 90Hz panel, it would have been even an amazing experience. The viewing angles and display in general is quite good, and no, it doesn't have any tint as such, in case you are wondering. The software experience is one of the best things to buy this device for, and it runs on the latest Android 11 with the latest security patch, plus it even has the Android 12 beta and will get latest day 1 updates for 3 years down the line, and that makes my money on it worth it. Unlike some other OEMs, there is zero wait for updates, and even the custom ROMs are way too much for this one, which is great for long-term usage of this device. Coming to the gaming aspect, well, if I talk about games like BGMI, it runs on smooth ultra settings at max and works quite well. The game is definitely playable, but don't expect flagship grade quality, to be really frank. The device can handle most of the apps and games, but if gaming is your utmost priority, then this will not suit your needs. The haptics on this device are awesome and the best I've experienced on any Android device, at least till now. Now if I talk about the battery backup, well, the device easily lasts for a day on a single charge with normal to medium usage without gaming, as the battery in here is quite small, but it is really well optimized and feels alright if not the best. The charging time here is around 2 hours with the supplied charger, which is on the higher side if you see in 2021, and this should have been around 30 watts minimum. Also, some cons like no 5G support makes it less future proof, but having only one 5G band would have made some difference. But now that the tech is still not there in India, it is still up to you, and I don't feel like falling for the 5G hype because it is very much of a future thing, and you should buy this device keeping in mind what it is now and decide with your use case. So if I sum up my initial thoughts with this device, well, I find it to be really impressive, as it is a practical phone that stays away from gimmicks of any kind, and I don't see many practical phones in this price that really deliver in everything, from a great software to decent hardware, though everything is not perfect either and it has its own flaws, but for what it's worth, it delivers more in some aspects like no other device, and that makes it a really nice pick at this price point. But it has its own cons, and you can wait for the Pixel 5a, as that would be for the best. Rest, I'll be sharing a full review really soon, and if you need a comparison with the OnePlus Nord, do let me know in the comment section down below. So that's it. Thanks for watching this video, and if you end up liking this one, make sure you press that subscribe button and press that like button while you are at it. So I'll see you in the next one.